Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Frances and I am one of the College of Engineering advisors here at UCSB. Welcome to our So You're a Senior Now presentation. So this presentation is designed to help those of you who have entered your final year here at UCSB get the most out of the next year, but also make sure that there are no surprises at the end of June. So really, today we're going to go through some steps that you can take each quarter to make sure that you are indeed eligible for that diploma at the end of the spring quarter. Now, this is meant for all 5 majors, so these are all general recommendations and are not meant to replace coming in to see your advisors, but rather just to give you some benchmarks about tasks that you may need to follow up on. So here we are in the fall quarter, and so I have your fall quarter to-do list. First and foremost, please run your major progress check in bold. If you've never done that, it is the automatic electronic audit that keeps track every single quarter. You can find it in gold under the progress tab, and then there is a second tab, major and GE progress checks. Go ahead and run it. You can run it with work in progress or without, your choice, but just pay attention to which way you've run it. You can see in my example on the screen, I've selected with work in progress. Pro tip, this is awesome, but please expand all sections. It will make things way easier for you to see, oh, that red X, well, what is missing in my major? I invite you to notice what's not satisfied. If it is upcoming courses for winter and spring, of course, that makes total sense. But if there's something surprising that you thought indeed you had finished already, then please follow up with us. So maybe you have transfer work from a summer session someplace else that you forgot to petition or send in the transcript. Maybe you went on education abroad and you never filled out paperwork to have those courses apply. So this is why we encourage you this fall to run your progress check, see what has yet to be completed, especially if there are requirements that you already thought you had satisfied. I'd like to draw your attention to the elective approvals by faculty. All 5 majors require faculty approvals on your electives. Now, I know you're in fall and you may not have selected those electives for winter and spring, so you may not be able to submit those forms right now, but please know that they do in fact exist. Basically, you have to list out all of the electives completed, which again is why you might not be turning it in until the spring quarter. But when you run your progress check, you will notice that this is a item on your degree audit, and if you never submit that form, we cannot send you your diploma. So do know that that is a task that will need to be done. It may not be able to be completed right now, but keep that in your calendar for a future quarter. The forms can be obtained either on the major department's website or from your major department advisor. Next, consider scheduling a senior check with an advisor like myself in the College of Engineering. Not only can we go over the progress check with you, but we especially can talk to you about your final general education or elective plans. And we can talk about how you'll want to schedule those for the winter or the spring quarter. So again, registration is coming up, so now is an excellent time to see us. And then we'll make referrals to your major department as appropriate. If you're not quite sure how to meet with us, if you come to the College of Engineering webpage under the undergraduate tab, there's an academic advising tab, and you'll see all of our names, and right under our names you can click on the book a virtual meeting link, and that will take you to our booking pages through Shoreline, and it interfaces directly with our calendars. And so it's an easy way to get yourself on our calendar to meet with us, and we can meet with you over Zoom or Google Hangouts, your preference, to walk you through and screen share. Phone calls are appropriate as well, but if you can swing it, I recommend the other 2 options so that we can screen share. For those of you who plan on finishing the College of Engineering Honors Program, make sure you have a plan for how you're going to finish your 6 units of honors and your final 10 hours of community service. Please look at the College of Engineering Honors Program website for the differences between staying in the program and finishing the program, and read the fine print. If you're not sure, schedule an appointment with me, Frances, because I coordinate the honors program. Start thinking about your career plans. If you are intending to go into industry, Handshake is the best way to kind of be up to date on who's coming to campus and what's happening. You all have Handshake accounts. If you need some help on how to use them and curate them, you can always reach out to Career Center. There are resume reviews happening. The fall career fair just happened. So lots happening in the fall around career, but it is not the only time that that happens. But now is a good time to kind of make a plan moving forward. And don't forget about individual consultations with Maddie Foster, the STEM career counselor. And that's all booked through the Career Service website. I think she actually takes her appointments in Handshake, but you can find her name on the Career Services website. Are you planning on applying to graduate school now and to go to graduate school directly with no break other than the summer? If you are, get on it. There are GRE prep workshops held by CLAS, so that might be something that you look into. The Career Services does statement of purpose workshops or consultations, so they have some resources on their website as well. And then really important, start identifying which faculty you will be asking for letters of rec from. And this is also important for my students who might be taking a year or two off before going to graduate school. You may want to start thinking about who could write you a letter of rec before you leave UCSB that you could have at your disposal for future opportunities. So kind of start identifying who those key players are. And then lastly, almost lastly, commencement. I'm sure your aunt, mom, grandparents, etc. are starting to wonder about commencement 2021. There isn't much info out there yet. It all is to be determined, but you do need to know that there is a UCSB commencement website. Easiest way is to Google it, and then that will be where all up-to-date information is placed. So especially if you have family members who are asking, you can give them that link as a resource. And for my BS/MS students, if you have not already checked in with your department to find out when you take the next steps, fall is a great time to do so. You may already know what your plan is and when you advance to graduate status, but if you don't, please feel free to reach out to your major department advisor. All right, so let's think about winter quarter coming up pretty soon. Really important to declare candidacy in gold for spring or summer, depending on when all courses will be finished. Declaring candidacy is how you tell UCSB that we should evaluate your record and, assuming everything is done, send you a diploma in the mail. If you never do that, even if all courses are done and you have a 4.0, we will never send you a diploma. So it's really important that you declare candidacy in gold. You also will want to reserve a seat in the commencement ceremony, assuming that the commencement ceremony happens in a typical fashion. So this one is a little TBD. No decisions have been made yet, but just keep in mind that that is a separate and second action. And lastly, if you're looking at your schedule and you're realizing you won't need a full 12 units in the spring quarter to graduate, please talk to an advisor like myself and the College of Engineering about your options for spring taking less than 12 units. And it's really important that you do this before the spring quarter starts, because there are some forms that are necessary, but they have a timetable. So really, if this is your situation, make sure that you talk with us before the start of spring to talk about how to proceed with taking less than 12 units in the spring. I wanted to pull up from gold just so you know where that declaring candidacy section is. If you go under the progress tab, one of the 4 options that shows up is graduation and commencement. Once you click on it, the next screen will show up and there's a drop-down box for you to declare candidacy. So right now only winter is available, and you can see it has a deadline. In the winter quarter, spring and summer and fall will all show up. And then you have to push the declare candidacy button. And then, depending on what commencement looks like, if commencement ceremonies are happening in person, then there is a spot where you click to reserve a seat in it. So more to be revealed on that. I also want to mention the diploma address at the bottom. This is where you can put a mailing address for where to send your diploma. So again, keep in mind that you need to put that in there as well. One other new thing is that declaration of candidacy for graduation is actually showing up on the degree audit, your major progress check. This is brand new. It's kind of out toward the bottom under the academic residence requirements. So just to draw your attention to that, it is a new feature added to the major progress check, but it is on there. And so for most of you, it will remain with a red X for a little while longer. And lastly, we turn to spring. So remember, those final elective approval forms, you should turn those in. By spring quarter, you'll know what all of your electives are, so you can get those turned in. Are you taking a general education course in your final quarter? Are you thinking about letter grade versus pass, not pass grading? Feel free to discuss the pros and cons of each grading option with a College of Engineering advisor, because again, the goal here is to make sure that at the end of spring, all requirements are met. If you're completing the College of Engineering Honors Program, there is a form to let me know that you're finishing it. So make sure you fill out the form and finish your community service hours. And then again, if you didn't already put in your diploma address in the winter, make sure that that address is up to date. Pro tip, don't use an IV address, use a permanent address. So perhaps a parent or a guardian's home, where someplace, in case your situation is fluid, someplace where you know that it will be received. And then lastly, a few things just to know. Your diplomas do actually take a while to be sent out, even though you'll likely be finishing courses in June. The spring candidates, their diplomas are actually mailed out in October. So the whole summer, the Office of the Registrar reviews your records, they finalize the class, and then they send out your diplomas. So don't worry if it takes a little while for them to be received. If you are a student who is interested in the honors at graduation, you don't need to do anything. It is based purely on your final GPA, and it is awarded to the top 20%. So we don't actually use the Latin here at UCSB. You may have heard of other people graduating cum laude, summa cum laude, magna cum laude. Here we use the English, but the top 2.5% receive highest honors. The next 6% receive high honors, and then the next 11.5% receive honors. So again, it's the top 20% of the graduating class, and it is based on final GPA, and this is put on your diploma. So again, you don't have to apply for this. This is just purely based on your GPA with enough 60 letter graded units, which you all should have. And then lastly, cap and gown rentals or graduation announcements. The UCSB bookstore handles that, and usually sometime in the winter, late winter, beginning of spring, you'll start getting some information about that. Sometimes if you're high in units, you may have already gotten those emails last year, but you should get them again. And then your last tips. Keep in touch. So thanks for joining me. Again, this is just a really quick fall, winter, spring, some key things that you may need to think about to make sure that there are no surprises at the end of your time here at UCSB. You can always come talk to an advisor in the College of Engineering. We'll point you in the right direction, even if it's not necessarily a requirement that we take care of. Please feel free to schedule a senior check. Again, all of our links to our booking links are on the COE undergraduate advising tab under academic advising. Really easy to, just meet with us. We can go over the progress check with you, talk about final plans, and kind of remind you of some of the things that I've gone over today. So when in doubt, feel free to refer back to this video every quarter or schedule an appointment with us. And frequently we may refer you to your major department as well. We thank you. We wish you the best, and don't forget to come see us.